What's going on, guys? ZUCO back with another Shadowlands video. How are y'all doing? Grab your coffee. We got some super exciting news today. 9.2.5 is launching in a week. I shit you not. It's launching in a week. Look at this. We're going to get to these notes in a second. I just want to show you guys a couple things that are going to be happening in the game when you get here. So let's get into all of it, but just give me a second here. First of all, in my last news video, I wanted to show you guys that the vendors are going to be in here, right? So I'm in the Enclave. I'm in the Hall of Holding. Sorry, Hall of Holding, where your vault is. These are the three guys that give you loot from the raid. That you have to trade those coins. You can only ever get 3 coins. In total, I think, for the entire season. Now, in 1 week, when 9.2.5 drops, we do not get Season 4. Okay? I repeat, we are not getting Season 4 next week. What people are predicting right now is that Season 4 might come out, mid-summer. We're hoping it's not going to be, too late into the summer. Because then that would, change our predictions about Dragonflight, right? But the point here is simply to say that these vendors will not be here, I don't think, right away in next week, but they will be here when the season comes out. They might actually be here next week. I don't know, but you won't be able to get these coins until the Season 4 comes out, which is probably later this summer. So I just want to make sure that that's clear. I also wanted to show you guys that the loot that you can get once we get there is pretty insane. All the loot upgrades once the seasons drop. I have a 285 pair of boots here that I have a 278 pair of boots. That's the highest you can get right now. So 285, that upgrades all the way to 300 eye level, by the way. So pretty cool stuff. You can see it's all here. It's all ready to go. This is part of my message that I want to say today, is that I think that I think that Season 4 is actually going to come out maybe quicker than some people think, because all this stuff is already ready to go. They've got these vendors in here. They've got the coins already done that you can trade in for whatever loot you want in the season. The vault stuff is here. They've got the item level going. I can upgrade it with Valor. All the affixes and stuff that they're going to be adding in the next season, Season 4, they're just affixes, right? They're not adding in an entire new continent. They're not adding in a whole new place for us to go to, like Zereth Mortis was, right? This took tons of development time to make Zereth Mortis, and they're not doing that anymore. They're simply adding in affixes to the content that we already have, right? In Season 4, of course, the Mythic Plus dungeons are going to be different than this. It's not showing them here, of course, but we're going to be doing 2 Tazavesh dungeons right here, and then we get to do from BFA, we're going to be doing Mechagon, and then from Legion, we're going to be doing Karazhan, both ends of Karazhan right here. Both wings of it. And then from Warlords, we have Iron Docks and Grimrail Depot, right? Which everybody voted on. But anyway, those are going to be the dungeons, and there is a new affix. I'll get to that in a second. I've already talked about the affix. So that's not the entire point of today's video, but let's get over to the other articles that we need to read. Let's move over here. So here are the patch notes for 9.2.5, and I do want to go over them a little bit, and we'll just talk about them really briefly. So let's see what they posted here. Blizzard posted notes for 9.2.5. Now, again, I do think that this is quicker than what most people were expecting. People were not expecting this to be announced until later. Maybe even into the summer a little bit. The Shadowlands 9.2.5 content update arrives on May 31st. Right? What's the date right now? So that is literally next Tuesday, guys. You can't see my calendar here, but it's next Tuesday. It comes with a variety of new features and experiences, such as cross-faction play, new quest lines for Blood Elf, Dark Art, and Dwarf characters, new PvP arena, and more. So again, it's not huge, and all the stuff coming in the seasons is not building a new content, which is why I think it's going to be coming out fairly quickly. All Covenant Sanctum feature achievements are now visible and count towards your character's total achievement points, regardless of which covenant your character currently belongs to. Nonetheless, all characters must belong to a covenant to earn that covenant's specific achievements, right? So that's still the same. Tower Ranger criteria, that's the Jailer's Gauntlet Torghast thing, cut in half. So pretty easy to get that achievement now. A couple of other achievements that I'm not interested in, but that's okay. I know some people are going to be really interested in doing these, which is great. Couple of changes for Death Knight and Warlock. Nothing really too crazy there. Then there's cross-faction stuff, which I'll get to in a second. There's a whole other article about cross-faction, so let me get to that in a minute. Cross-realm rating is now available on Mythic difficulty, which is great. That's not cross-faction, cross-realm. So, you know, you can... That's always the way it goes in expansions, right? The Mythic stuff is locked to your realm for a little while, and then eventually it's not. With cross-faction instances becoming available, the Cryptic Hero Season 3 achievement now requires a Mythic Plus rating of the top 0.1% of all players in your region. So, when this goes live next week, Season 3 will still be in effect. We're still in Season 3. We're essentially just getting cross-faction gameplay now, which is massive for the Alliance guilds. Items and rewards, we're going to get to cross-faction in a second. Broker, Mark of Distinction now increases renown of your currently active covenant to 60, was 40. This is all about catch-up stuff and alt stuff. Renown catch-up is accelerated through Renown 60, was 48. These activities will now have a 100% chance to give you Renown, Mythic, and Mythic, so flat Mythics and Mythic Plus. Torghast layers 9 to 16. Any raid boss that you kill, and then winning a raided battleground. These will all guarantee you to get Renown. So, obviously, best time ever to be doing a catch-up or an alt character that you wanted to do all expansion. Now, next week will be the time to really do it. You're going to be getting insane catch-up gear from that. Reward boxes from Callings now contain twice as many Grateful Offerings, still scaling with your Covenant. So that's for, like, the Grateful Offerings were for unlocking, like, good transmogs and toys, I think, right, for the different areas. Zerath Mortis weekly quest patterns within patterns now awards Grateful Offerings. Fixed an issue that sometimes caused Blizzard shop transmog cosmetics to temporarily disappear from your collection. Oh, no. Fixed an issue where Jingle's battle pet. Okay. There's a new arena, like a brand new arena that PvP people are getting, which is kind of nuts for those guys who like doing PvP. Like, that is awesome that they get a new arena. Really good to see the love for the PvP guys, even though it's not something that I play. They essentially made it a lot easier to craft the legendary base pieces now. Like, way easier, I think. You get experience much more quickly for doing it. So I think the market's probably going to take a bit of a hit in terms of the legendary crafting items, which would be very great because we're all sick and tired of paying through the teeth just to buy those things. Couple of quests for the heritage armor. Very cool. Torghast, user interface. That's it. So mostly what I want to focus on here is, of course, the fact that there's going to be cross-faction stuff coming. Let's go to that official thing over here. Right before I do, actually, let me just look at this. One thing I want to mention really quickly is that they have started to tune the Mythic Plus affix for the Dreadlords in Season 4. Again, Season 4 is not coming next week, probably in the summertime, but it's really encouraging to see that they're already iterating on the Dreadlords. Already. It's been out for a week. They're already making changes this quickly. They changed some of the damage from the Shadow Lords. They made them essentially reduce the healing that you receive by 50% instead of 35%, and then their Vampiric Claw will heal them for a lot more as well. So they're making changes to the Season 4 Mythic Plus affix already, and like that is just so encouraging to me. It really makes me think like they're going to be pushing it out, I think, much more quickly than people think. This is all exactly how I was hoping that this would go. As I said in my previous video, there's been Blizzard's turned over a new leaf. Like, they feel like a completely different company now when it comes to how quickly they release content, the feedback that they're taking from players, and they're implementing it in game. We're seeing really encouraging signs that Blizzard is pushing forward the way that we want them to. And I really do think that that Season 4 is going to come out way before the end of the summer. Some people are saying, like, definitely not till August or September. I think it's definitely going to be before then. My hope would be by the end of June. That's probably way too much hopium, but this is encouraging stuff. This here is encouraging. It makes you realize that they're iterating on stuff, they're moving forward, they're getting ready to release the new content as quickly as they possibly can. They're trying to make sure it's in good form so that we don't just run over this new affix when we get it. Okay, let's move to cross-faction stuff. This is the biggest thing that's coming next week is cross-faction gameplay. That's the biggest thing. Here's what I want to say. Let's read this first. Make frenemies of your enemies when you party with players from the opposing faction. And initially outlined in the previous post, cross-faction instances will break the faction divide by allowing friends from the opposite faction to play together. It will also expand on opportunities for players to pursue their favorite group content. This is absolutely true, guys. This is what's really, really cool here, is that we will get to do, I think particularly for the Alliance, who have suffered in terms of their ability to, like, the group finder is like the worst thing ever for Alliance. Like, if you're playing an off-meta spec or class like Enhancement Shaman, or maybe you're playing BM Hunter still, or Marksman Hunter, even though I run every week with a Marksman Hunter and she's insane, she's really, really good. Maybe you want to play an Unholy DK, like I don't know, maybe a Shadow Priest, right? There's all these classes that, like, you queue up for something and you just never get in because people are really snooty. But there's also just not very many groups going on the Alliance side, period. It's just not happening that much. And so now we're going to get the cross-faction thing. It's going to bump up the Alliance's ability to queue for dungeons, to queue for raids. I just think it's going to be such a good quality of life change, particularly for the Alliance people. I think it'll help the Horde as well, but I don't think they had as much of a difficulty with that. To invite members of the opposite faction to a party, players must have a battle tag or a real ID friendship or be members of a cross-faction WoW community. So you can't just pick up randos. If you want to invite somebody to a party, that's if you physically want to click on their name and invite them. They can't just be a rando. They need to have a battle tag or a real ID friendship. So, or be members of a cross-faction WoW community. So obviously those exist right now. What this is basically saying is that you can't just pick up randos. What you can do, however, is you will have the ability to find pre-made groups in the group finder for dungeons, normal, heroic, mythic, flat mythic, and mythic plus, and raids, and all PvP stuff, and also Torghast. However, the group leader may restrict the listing in the same faction if they choose. So let's flip back to gameplay really quick. I'll show you what that looks like. So if I go here, what is this? If I want to dungeons, I want to start a group, look at down here. I can limit this to the Alliance, right? If I want to. Sorry, I'll get this up here. If I want to limit it to the Alliance, I can. I don't have to, but that's the thing. You can basically say only Alliance players will see your group. This may reduce the number of applicants you receive. So they're trying to encourage you, even in this little icon, to just not click it because, you know. So this is the new button that we've got here, essentially. And you can click it or you can not click it. But it's going to make it so that if you don't click it, if you leave it unchecked, then if I'm applying for keys, if I go back and I just go find a group, all the dungeons will show up here that are even Horde or Alliance because if as long as they don't have that box checked, that's essentially what it's saying. So we'll have to see. Some people may still want to limit it to the Horde or limit it to the Alliance, whatever they want to do, but you're going to see way more groups are going to open up in this finder here, which is going to be just really exciting. So that's awesome. Let's keep going here. So you have the ability. So basically, you can only invite people who are battle tag, real ID, or part of your community, or you can go into the group finder and queue up for a group, and you don't have to be battle tag friend with anybody as long as they don't have that box checked if you're the opposite faction. That makes sense? They may restrict it. Once in a party, members of the opposite faction will remain unfriendly while outside of instances, though they will be able to communicate through party and raid chat, as well as use /say/yell within proximity of one another. So what I don't know, what we're not really sure about, is if I'm unfriendly with my party members, but I'm still in their party, can we summon other people with the summoning stone? Because if they're unfriendly, I'm assuming they can't help me summon. but like we're in a party. So I wish they had kind of clarified this. It doesn't feel like it's clarified to me. Let me know in the comments down below if you guys find something that answers this question. Once in a party, you will remain unfriendly while outside of the instance, which is where the summoning stones are, right? Though they will be able to communicate through party chat, that's fine. It's great we can communicate, but I'm wondering, can we help summon other people because they're going to be unfriendly? So I'm not really sure about that. I need to get some more information there. Upon entering a dungeon, however, all members will be friendly, will be able to assist each other in combat, trade loot, earn shared achievements, and otherwise fully engage in the same way that members of the same faction do. Very cool. So I guess ultimately if you had a warlock, you could all run into the dungeon and summon people if the summoning stone thing doesn't work. But I don't know about that yet. Guilds will remain single faction, and random matchmade activities like heroic dungeons, skirmishes, or RBGs will remain the same. The functionality of cross-faction instance feature will also apply to legacy instances at all levels. However, there's some instances that basically just can't go cross-faction because of the nature of those instances. These are cross-faction. These are like the two factions fighting each other, so you can't go in here, like Siege of Paralysis, Battle for Desire Lore, all that stuff, right? So, yeah, that's the post there. Let me bring this up over here. So this is really huge news. I think the timing of this is really huge. I want to say that, like, this was not expected to come out this quickly at all. Of course, the season isn't ending yet. Usually we get an announcement that's like, the season's ending soon, and then, you know, it's usually in that order, but they haven't done that. They've just said, you know what, we're going to push 925 through. You'll be able to do cross-faction stuff right away. You'll be able to create those cross-faction communities that you have. You'll be able to actually do content together now, which is really cool. Not sure if we'll be able to summon our unfriendly friends now at the summoning stone. That'll be interesting to see. But this is certainly a much quicker timeline than we were expecting from Blizzard. And I think, as I showed in the other posts that I had there with the iteration that they're doing on the Dreadlords, it really feels like Blizzard is moving much more quickly than they used to. The pace at which they're pumping out these updates and the pace with which they're pushing the game forward has accelerated. Like, it's almost double the speed that it used to be, honestly. We've been surprised every couple of weeks over the last 2 months or so. We've all been surprised by what's been happening. Everybody's like, oh, didn't think that was coming out this quickly. So I just think that that's going to continue, and I think that we're all going to be shocked as to how quickly this kind of gets rolled out. I wouldn't be surprised if by the end of June or mid-July, Season 4 launched. But to be clear, Season 4 is not launching next week. We are getting cross-faction next week, though, so you can hopefully avoid sitting in a queue timer, like just queuing up for dungeons over and over and over again, hoping to get in. There should be lots of groups for you to jump into next week. So the Dreadlord tuning is really good. The Hall of Fame is a question. People were wondering, there's only 18 Alliance guilds right now that have got Hall of Fame, which is killing the Jailer on Mythic before the next season comes out. So people are wondering, like, if the Horde people cross-faction with the Alliance people, it sounds like from their post here that your achievements will be shared. So you can earn shared achievements here. So I think that, you know, people are probably going to say that it's illegitimate now that the Alliance people didn't get it on their own, but whatever, I don't really care. But some people are worried about the Hall of Fame stuff. But also there's the improvements to the alt/catch-up mechanics that are coming. It's never been a better time to become to get an alt character going, because they've just buffed all of the stuff here. The Torghast, they're awarding more renown upon completion of all these different activities. So get in there and get your ult going. There's a brand new arena as well. There's a lot of really cool stuff actually happening in 925. It looks, on the surface, it might just look like a filler patch where nothing's really happening, but I think cross-faction gameplay is actually pretty insane, especially for Alliance people. I think that, you know, just the queue times alone are going to be way, way better. So that's it, guys. That's the post for today. This is very exciting. This is happening next week. So if you were, like, frustrated with Mythic Plus, or you didn't get to do a lot of raiding and you want to do it now, maybe you want to raid with your friends. Maybe you want to play with your friends that are cross-faction, like all the people on my Twitch stream and on my YouTube channel. We can all play now. So here's what I'm thinking. There'll be a link to the Discord down below. If you haven't joined my Discord yet, go down there and join it. If you guys want to play with me across faction, if we want to start doing some dungeons with all of you guys, because I would love to do that, then we need to get the real ID battle tag. It's battle tag or real ID friendship. So we need to do that. And I'm also potentially today going to start up a cross-faction WoW community. I'm not sure about this yet. I'm going to look into it, but for now, we can start with the Battletech Real ID stuff. I don't mind adding you guys, and then we can jump in and do some content together. A bunch of you guys have been asking for this because you're like, I can't wait till 925 comes out when we can actually play together. It's coming now. It's coming next week. So this week, maybe we can work on that. Go down to my Discord, and let's chat about it down there. And we can add each other as friends, and then we can actually do some dungeons together. So that's it for today, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. What do you think about... I really want to know what you guys think about the speed, the pacing with which Blizzard is releasing content now. Do you think that this means that the future content that they're releasing, i.e. are working towards Dragonflight, do you think that that's going to be faster than what we've been used to in the last couple years, where Blizzard has really just been like an awful company? I really think they've turned a new leaf. I want to know what you guys think about that. Do you think that they've gotten better? Do you think that the game is going to get quicker? All the releases are going to get faster and faster, and we're going to get more content more frequently, because that would be pretty awesome. Thanks for watching once again. Drop a like down below if you like this, and subscribe. Check out my Patreon if you want to support the future of what I'm doing on this channel. I would really appreciate that. And until the next one, guys, we'll see you later.